The North American P-51 Mustang is one of the most iconic fighter aircraft of World War II, renowned for its speed, range, and versatility. Often hailed as the plane that won the air war over Europe, it combined American engineering ingenuity with British innovation, evolving from a rushed prototype to a war-winning machine. This detailed history covers its origins, design, production, technical specifications, armament, variants, key battles, and legacy. Origins and development, 1940 to 1941. The P-51 story begins in the early days of WWII amid Britain's desperate need for fighter aircraft. In 1940, with the Battle of Britain raging, the British Purchasing Commission approached North American Aviation, NWI, a young California-based company founded in 1934 by James H. Joes Dutch Kindleberger. NBA had experience with trainers like the AT-6 Texan, but no fighters yet. The British wanted more Curtiss P-40 Warhawks, but NWI proposed building a superior new design instead. On April 10, 1940, the Commission issued a requirement for a single-engine fighter with high speed, good climb rate, and heavy armament. NWI's chief designer, Edgar Schmuid, a German immigrant with experience at Fokker and Messerschmitt, led a team that sketched the NA-73X prototype in just 117 days. A remarkably short time, aided by wind tunnel data from the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA. Key innovation: the plane used a laminar flow wing design, reducing drag for better speed and efficiency. It was powered by the Allison V1710 engine, a liquid-cooled V12 producing about 150 horsepower. The prototype first flew on October 26, 1940, from Mines Field, now LAX, in Inglewood, California. Test pilot Vance Breese reported excellent handling, though early issues included coolant leaks. The British named it Mustang after the wild American horse, symbolizing speed and agility. The U.S. Army Air Force's USAAF adopted it as the P-51 in 1941, initially for tactical reconnaissance as the A-36 Apache, a dive bomber variant. Production and manufacturing locations. Production ramped up quickly due to wartime demands. NWI's primary factory was in Inglewood, California, where the first Mustangs rolled out in 1941. By 1943, demand surged, leading to a second plant in Dallas, Texas, Grand Prairie, which produced over 4,000 units. Total production, 15,586 Mustangs across all variants, including 8,200 at Inglewood and 7,186 at Dallas. Inglewood plant focused on early models, P-51A-BC. It was a hub of innovation with assembly lines optimized for mass production, a hallmark of American wartime industry. Dallas plant built later models, P-51DH, and handled modifications. Post-war, it continued for F-51s, redesignated in 1948. Other sites, some components were subcontracted, e.g., Packard built Merlin engines in Detroit, Michigan. Australia produced 200 under license as the CAC CA-18 Mustang. Wartime output peaked at 500 planes per month by 1944, thanks to Ford-style assembly lines and a workforce including many women, Rosie the Riveters. Costs dropped from $50,000 per plane early on to about $40,000 by war's end. Technical specifications and design details. The Mustang was a single-seat, long-range fighter with a sleek aluminum fuselage, semi-monocoque construction for strength and lightness. Length, 32 feet 3 inches. Wingspan, 37 feet. Height, 13 feet 8 inches. Empty weight, around 7,635 pounds. Max takeoff, 12,100 pounds. Engine evolution. Early models. P-51A used the Allison V1710, good for low-altitude performance, top speed 1390 mph, but weak above 15,000 feet due to a single-stage supercharger. The game-changer came in 1942. British engineers at Rolls-Royce tested a Merlin 61 engine, V12, 1,490, 1,710 HP, with a two-stage supercharger. Packard licensed and built it as the V1650 in the U.S. This boosted high-altitude performance to 440 mph at 25,000 feet, with a service ceiling of 41,900 feet and range of 1,650 miles, extendable to 2,300 with drop tanks. Aerodynamics: laminar flow wings, NACA 66 series airfoil, minimized turbulence. A ventral radiator scoop, Meredith effect, used exhaust heat for thrust, adding 10-15 mpm. Propeller: four-bladed Hamilton Standard or Aero products, constant speed for efficiency. Fuel and range: internal tanks held 269 U.S. gallons. External drop tanks, 75, 110 gallons each, enabled escort missions over Germany, a critical advantage over shorter-range fighters like the P-47 Thunderbolt. Controls and handling: bubble canopy from P-51D onward provided 360-degree visibility. Hydraulically boosted ailerons and elevators made it agile, with a turn radius rivaling the Spitfire. Pilots praised its stability in dives up to 5.5 miles and ease of maintenance. Variants: P-51A, early Allison engine, 450 cal guns. P-51BC, Merlin engine, Razorback canopy, produced in Inglewood, B, and Dallas, C. P-51D, iconic bubble canopy, 6, 50 cal guns, most produced, 7,956 units. P-51H, lighter, faster post-war variant, 5 FE5 built, 457 Vb top speed. Others: A-36, dive bomber, F-6, photo recon, TP-51, two-seat trainer. Armament: guns and weapons. The Mustang was heavily armed for its size, evolving to pack a punch against fighters and ground targets. Primary guns. Early models had 4 50 caliber Browning M2 machine guns, 2 per wing. From P-51B onward, 6 50 cals, 3 per wing, with 1,280 rounds total, 400 per inner gun, 270 per outer. Sync-fired through the propeller, they delivered devastating firepower, effective against aircraft, e.g. shredding Luftwaffe Me-109s and strafing ground targets. Additional weapons: underwing hardpoints for bombs, up to 2,000 pounds total, e.g. 2 1,000 LB bombs. Rockets, HVAR or Tiny Tim or napalm. The A-36 variant added dive brakes and bomb racks for ground attack. Effectiveness: guns were belt-fed with tracers for aiming. In dogfights, the Mustang's speed allowed hit-and-run tactics. On strafing runs, it destroyed trains, tanks, and airfields. Key battles and operational history: 1942-1945. The Mustang entered combat in 1942 with the RAF, but its legend grew with the USAF's 8th Air Force in Europe. Early operations: 1942-1943. RAF Mustangs flew low-level recon and ground attacks over France, e.g. Dieppe Raid, August 1942. USAAF A-36 supported North Africa and Italy campaigns, bombing Axis positions in Tunisia and Sicily. P-51As saw limited action in the Pacific with the 301th Fighter Group. Bomber Escort Breakthrough, 1943-1944. The Merlin-powered P-51BC transformed strategic bombing. Before Mustangs, B-17 Flying Fortresses suffered heavy losses without long-range escorts. E.g. Schweinfurt-Regensburg raid, August 1943, 60 bombers lost. Mustangs arrived in December 1943, escorting bombers to Berlin and back. First mission, March 4, 1944. They decimated the Luftwaffe, EGA. On Big Week in February 1944, Mustangs claimed 157 kills. By D-Day, June 6, 1944, they achieved air superiority, strafing Normandy beaches and inland targets. Major battles: Battle of the Bulge, December 1944, January 1945. Mustangs provided close air support, attacking German columns despite bad weather. They destroyed fuel convoys, tying into the document's theme of logistics. EOEG, P-51s from the 354th Fighter Group strafed Piper's forces, exacerbating fuel shortages. Pacific Theater, 1944-1945, P-51Ds from Iwo Jima escorted B-29 superfortresses over Japan, downing kamikazes and bombing factories. In the Battle of Okinawa, April-June 1945, they protected naval fleets. Korean War, 1950-1953. As F-51s, they flew ground attacks against North Korean forces, proving versatile in jet age, despite losses to MiG-15s. Aces: over 281 Mustang pilots became aces, 5+ kills, including Chuck Yeager, first to break sound barrier post-war, and Dawn Gentile, 26 kills. Post-war legacy and modern relevance production ended in 1946, but Mustangs served in 55 Air Forces until the 1980s, Shibijiji, Dominican Republic's last, in 1984. Many were sold as surplus for racing, e.g. Reno Air Races. Today, about 175 survive, with 100 airworthy, restored by enthusiasts and museums like the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. The Mustang's good things. It saved countless bomber crews, shortened the war, and exemplified Allied collaboration. Drawbacks: early engine issues, vulnerability to ground fire. Its design influenced jets like the F-86 Sabre. In summary, the P-51 Mustang wasn't just a plane, it was a symbol of American industrial might, much like the K rations in the document. Efficient, abundant, and decisive in turning the tide of war. If you'd like more specifics or images, let me know.